Team, here we are. Evening, Ros.
Live at the Light Box.
Live Light Box again.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday. It's
been windy here today.
4:01.
Yeah,
We are so on time.
We are so on top. We have to be on time today. We've got a big one.
We've got a
Big one.
We've got 1,000 people coming on today.
We have,
so
yes.
So well organised.
Yes.
So first things first, talk me through Gladstone this week. What's going on?
Well, it's
I was away for half of it.
it's actually a bit exciting.
Bit exciting.
Yeah, I met with the mayor yesterday, Matt Burnett.
Why is it a bit exciting?
Well,
It's very
he's
exciting.
just talking about there's a lot of things coming up, a lot of things happening for Gladstone, and we both agree it's going to be a steady growth again, but where everything's looking very
So they're not going
positive.
to approve everything.
Well, I think there's a few things. Sorry, it's very windy. Oh, I nearly lost my teeth.
Very good at that. We've got a few people coming on already.
Oh,
Barb,
hey,
Michelle,
guys.
Andrew, Mackie,
Crystal
Brizzy,
Brooks. Crystal had a birthday this
Michelle
week. Happy
Hunt,
birthday,
she did
Crystal.
too,
Mark
21
Huffle.
again. And Michelle
Michelle
Henderson.
Henderson.
New Zealand. We're going to New Zealand.
Oh, wow. See,
Yes.
global.
We are global livers.
Global. Hang on, I can't see you. Where are you? There you are.
So what else? What's coming?
Well, yeah, Matt was just talking about the fact that obviously everyone's very aware that we're recovering from the LNG boom coming out the other end of the recovery, and yeah, that things are starting to pick up. There's a lot of projects and everything coming for the area, and yeah, and obviously one of the big changes that we've seen recently was Cindy Bush having to resign from the council. Unfortunately, they're not doing baby deliveries at the Mater anymore.
So is the
her
Mater
husband
still
had-
open?
Mater's still open, but they're not delivering babies there anymore. I have a few friends that are expecting and we're going to deliver at the Mater.
Well, he delivered our baby.
He's delivered a lot of people's babies in town, and it's a big loss for the area. And obviously, that meant that. Sorry, I'm pouring my tea. Obviously, that meant that there was a position that became vacant at the Gladstone Regional Council.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, watch the chairs. No swearing today. We've got guests.
That's right.
So
now
yeah,
we've got to have
really,
an election.
yeah, really big,
So
really.
what do they do, councils?
deal.
Talk me through it.
Well, I actually spoke with Khan Goodluck when I got to the council chambers yesterday, and it's they're a lot busier than people realise.
Are
I think it's not a cushy job. They all work extremely
They all do a
hard.
bit.
You know, honestly, I don't think that you would put your hand up lightly. There's been 6 candidates nominated for this
6?
election,
We're
so
talking through them, so.
we're four this afternoon.
Oh, no, Pat's not coming.
Oh, Pat's not coming. Okay, so Pat can't make it. So we've got 3 people coming this afternoon. We're interviewing Colin Burke will be here shortly, and then Natalie Muscat.
I've
Yes.
never met Natalia.
Oh, haven't you?
Is it Natalia?
I saw Natalia at her house.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Shit.
I did, and I actually on our page I shared the Facebook links to the Facebook pages of each of the candidates yesterday, and we'll do that again after this
And
live.
who's the third person?
Mark is we're live now. I just went on my phone and we're
there you
live
go.
apparently.
So
So
now you're following us.
I am.
Butchie
sorry,
joined
hello, I
in
am
too.
here.
Hello, Butchie.
It'd be funny if I wasn't here.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm
Catherine
just going to
Merritt.
have a quick look at this.
Well, while you do that, I'll just. Oh, Jack Smith. Jack Smith got 4th in his age group at Noosa last weekend. Now,
Mark McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, yes. Now, very quickly, we need to jump from councillor because they're going to be here at 15:15
Yes.
to triathlon. The Noosa Tri was run and won on the
Yeah,
weekend. It was
yeah.
a great weekend. So for all of those triathletes out there in the world, of which there are thousands, there was 12,000 people down there. There's $20 million worth of push bikes down there.
Wow.
Try that on for
Oh,
size.
wow.
And Jacko, this little young punk here,
Hey, Jack.
he got 4th in his age group.
Oh,
so
my
he's
God,
like a
good on you, Jack.
superstar.
Oh,
He's
I know a
Australian
Jack
rep.
Smith. Is that the
Yeah.
same Jack Smith?
The young punk?
Yeah.
Good
We'll just
lad.
go with my kids. Is that the
Is
same
to be
Jack?
him? That'll be him. Yeah, it's the Chanel.
Joe and Dose?
Yeah,
No,
no,
no.
Tony's and forget what's your mum's name, Jacko. Tony's dad.
Catherine Merritt. Catherine Merritt, how's your new job going? And Butchie's joined us. Butchie, I have a
Butchie.
story to tell about Glenn Butcher. I don't know if I should tell a story about Glenn
I
Butcher
think you
from
should.
Melbourne Cup Day.
Was he pissed as a
No,
mule?
he was not. He was not at all. But he scared the living daylights out of me
What did he do?
because
Grab him
well,
bum
we
or
ended up at the same venue, and I was ordering a drink, and I dropped my handbag, and when I turned around to pick it up, it was gone, and I just freaked out
and
because I actually picked the winner of the Melbourne Cup.
Oh, and you
So I had this wad of
$1,000
cash.
in there.
I actually had a friend sent me a tip, and I won. I actually winner of the Melbourne Cup, and I won quite a few $100. So I had an absolute heart attack because I dropped my bag on the floor, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, oh my God, where is it? Where is it? And I look up straight into the eyes of Glenn Butcher, and he had pinched my bag.
Oh, good on him.
So yes, that was a little joke. I said, I'm gonna tell everyone on our live that you
Good
pinched my bag. He gave it back, so
Oh,
that's
good.
all good.
And what did you spend all that money on?
I've still got that money, most of it. Yeah, so
You need some new shoes or something.
oh, I'm sure I do. I'm sure I'll give it a good eye.
Just home from a run, not a triathlete legend. Don't worry about that, Michelle. Running's enough. Go.
Yeah, no, I don't do running. Sorry, Michelle.
You do
Congratulations.
You do like
I do gym.
personal
I do weights.
Show us the guns
Weights
again.
and
Show the
strength.
guns
So
again.
no.
You got the guns going on again.
Yeah, so that's good, Catherine. I'm really glad.
Butchie, haha. Didn't get a
You didn't-
reward.
Hey, your reward was that.
Jeez,
I didn't go
Butchie,
ape.
what- you didn't-
Looking for
you
my
didn't go
bag.
nuts.
I'm
Now-
sorry. Did I buy you a
now,
drink? I might not have
actually,
actually bought. I owe you a drink, Glenn, for giving
Butchie,
my bag back.
me and Butchie haven't done a live yet. He keeps saying we should.
Well, you know what? I honestly, Butchie,
When
you
are
owe
we-
us one because
You
I
do.
messaged Matt Burnett yesterday. He put 5 minutes aside for me, and that's how quick it was. So you are so behind the
So-
times.
so
You've got to
Butchie,
get on
can
here and do a live with
Yeah,
us.
come up. Either we'll come to you or you come to us if that's cool, Butchie.
Yes.
Now, just talking about Noosa and other big things that are going on in Gladstone. So that was a great weekend.
Yeah,
If you
it
haven't
was.
been to Noosa, get
But
down there.
biggest question:
No.
have you sold Mellifont Street?
Yes. Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yes, we have. We must have by now. Zach would have sold that tonight.
Yeah, someone asked me today. They
He
said,
was
I've been
sold.
watching your lives. Has Anton sold Mellifont
turn
Street
around.
yet? I said, you know
Yes.
what? I'm sure when he sells it, we're going to hear all about it. So,
Yeah, well done.
yes. Actually,
So
Butchie,
no.
it'd be great if you could come on because Matt gave us an update yesterday, quick update on all the
Natalia
things that are
Muscat's
happening.
watching
Oh,
us.
Natalia, she's down at the pre-polling booth. So Natalia's joining us later. So Matt mentioned yesterday, just so everyone knows, the council elections by-election is being held on the 17th of November. It's to fill one of the seats,
17th,
which was, no, 17th, which was vacated by Cindy Bush. So there's 6 candidates in the election. Natalia's down at the pre-polling booth now, which is down at the old Peps Pottery building opposite the Queen's Hotel in Gundoon Street.
Yes, hello.
And the other there's only one other pre-polling booth, which is at the community centre at Agnes.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so there's 2 pre-polling booths which will be open up until the election on the 17th of November.
That's good.
So if you'd like to meet the candidates, Natalia's down there now. So I'm sure you're there every day. Every time I drive past you there, Natalia. So
Plus,
yeah,
I'm not
she's-
here that weekend. We're away to the triathlon, strangely enough. So
Oh,
I've got
wow.
a
So you have
pre-poll.
to pre-poll. So, and there's no
Is
preferential
it illegal?
voting.
Is it illegal not to vote?
I
What's
think
the
it
story
still
there?
is. I
Do they
think you
give
can
a
still
fine or
get
something?
fined if you don't vote.
Okay.
So Natalia, I
Butchie.
actually,
I'm heading.
Butchie's back in Natalia.
Oh, I'm back in the
Oh,
Natalia.
she's there every day.
Yes, I'm
so,
here every day.
So Natalia does a lot of work.
Go, Natalia.
We'll talk to her a bit later,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to give you all the background. But I've actually met Natalia quite a long time ago. I actually sold Natalia her house, and she's still there, and
Still in
I
it?
believe very happy. But we had a
good.
conversation recently. So yeah, she's a lovely, lovely lady, and we'll get to meet her a little bit later, and I'm sure she'll have lots to tell
Yeah.
us.
Talking about lives, did you see my Facebook page this week?
I have seen everything you've done this week.
How good was Andy
That's
Reid?
great, Natalia. Yeah,
Wasn't
Andy
really
Reid was
good.
great.
Isn't
yes.
he fantastic?
Yes. he
What a
is.
humble, lovely bloke.
Yes,
Just-
he is very
and
humble.
he
And,
just
I'm glad
says-
you're back in town now.
I know.
You haven't put much on our page. I've been
I know.
pounding the pavement.
But I've been away for like a year. I haven't been around.
Oh, really?
I haven't. I was in Moranbah. I was in
You've
Noosa
been
one
to
day.
Sydney, Melbourne.
Moranbah.
Moranbah,
Noosa. So
Noosa.
I've been around.
Yeah, you don't want to be promoting those places. Save your
No,
lives for when
that's
you're
right.
here. I've actually got a really great little bit of info
What is
to
it?
share with you. I've made a time with the
Judy
owners.
Churich, join us.
Hi, Judy, and I'll give Judy's function a plug soon as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Judy got in touch with me today.
Right.
But first, I've talked to Yvonne and Tracy down at the Deli Plate. I had my first visit there this week, and
How good is it?
I
man?
actually went in yesterday and I bought up some of the most beautiful food.
Did you buy some of the
I had the roast beef.
liver pate?
No, I love
Get
liver
into
pate
that.
though.
Get
But
into
I went back to the office with this lovely paper bag full of all these
Stuff.
cheeses and olives and stuffed
yes.
peppers and
The girls would love
oh
that.
my god, it was unbelievable. So I booked in
Yeah.
a time for Tuesday at 2:00. I'm going to go down and interview
Good.
Yvonne and Tracy down at the Deli
Yvonne,
Plate.
Tracy.
So
That's
Yvonne's
good.
the owner. So she's a
Good.
bit camera shy, so
Is
she's
she?
told in one of her staff members to go
As-
live. So
as they should. I don't get that, eh? Can someone talk me through that?
talk you through what?
Can
Oh,
someone
that
talk me
people
through-
don't. Well, when not everyone's like us.
I
Smile
know,
into
but
a camera.
I know, but wouldn't you think that, like, if it's for the sake of your business, you'd be able to find
Well, I mentioned that to Yvonne too, but some people just aren't into
Really?
going live. People ask me all the time, I don't know how you do it, and I just sit there and yak into Anton.
No,
You don't even know there's a
Seriously?
camera there.
that's
so.
right. We're
Hi,
just chatting
Anne.
away, all the way from Agnes.
Happy Friday,
Happy
Ian.
Friday, Ian.
So I'm just going to give Judy. Judy Churik sent me today, and I'm going to just give this a plug because we're talking about events. So on the 16th of November, just correct me if I get this wrong, Judy, but on the 16th of November is the Pop-Up Jazz Club. So it's held here at the Gladstone Entertainment Centre. So Judy's just asking if anyone wants to get a table together for that. So now, Judy, Joanna Churik is in this. Relative, I'm assuming. So
Daughter.
It's her daughter?
Yeah.
No, okay. So daughter.
Raising money?
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Barb. Monday for 2:00. See, Barb's looking at my calendar. It was originally Tuesday. We changed it to Monday. So Monday at the Deli Plate. But if you want to jump online, there is a Facebook page. I don't know if you can see that. So Facebook page for the Pop-Up Jazz Club. So go on to that event and like it. Yes. That's really exciting, Judy. So, if anyone wants to get a table for that, I'm sure it'll be a fantastic night.
And I think I've made a donation.
16th of November.
I think I've got a table for 4 for me and Jules and Beachy, but now I'm out of town. So
okay.
I might have a free table for someone if someone wants it.
Excellent. And that is the night before the council by-election.
So is it on the Sunday, the council by-election?
Well, the 17th is definitely the day. I have no idea.
Really? Is it
no idea.
Is that normally on a Sunday?
I don't know. It's the council election, so.
What else was Gladstone this week?
You're welcome, Judy.
What else?
What else is happening? Oh, guess what? My favourite band's in town this weekend. Mason Rack. Sunday, Mason Rack are back in town.
Why don't we go out and do a live with them?
We should.
I'm coming.
They are honestly so talented.
Right,
God, you just wouldn't even believe it. Every single time I see them, everyone's got their cameras out doing lives of them.
So good.
Oh, they're brilliant. They do all this drumming making the Mason Rack band. Mason
Where
Rack.
are they from?
They're from down south, but they're very well known around the Agnes community. They have built themselves up. I think I mentioned recently they won Best Band in Queensland.
And we haven't done a live.
Thank you, Natalia's just confirmed it is the 17th.
Why Sunday, Natalia?
17th.
Why not a Saturday? It just seems a weird day to me. We need to investigate.
Well, there's probably a lot of people working.
I think that's a big
Sunday.
That's a big question.
But you know what? It doesn't matter because there's pre-polling booths.
That's right. Do it anyway.
And the other exciting news, which I'm really proud of all of the 6 candidates. Matt Burnett mentioned to me yesterday, the mayor, that they got all the 6 candidates to agree this year to have one polling booth that was flyer free. What? So Chanel College, if you don't like getting people shoving flyers at you when you go to vote, Chanel College, all 6 candidates have agreed to have that as a flyer-free booth this year.
Cool,
so if you head to Chanel College on Patterson Street, and you can walk straight in there. If you already know who you're voting for, walk in there. You can walk through the gates without anybody shoving anything at you. And it's really great that all 6 candidates agreed to that.
Because I take them all, but just minimum.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem, I think.
Okay. And that's
so voting's from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 17th. So, and there's a lot of polling booths open all around the place. So, on the day.
Yeah.
But pre-polling is in 2 places.
Right.
So, hey, Nick, come over.
Oh, Nick, we're going to meet.
You've got to get Nick in before all the councillors.
Now I was going to say
prospective councillors arrive. So.
What's going on?
So, Nick, we're interviewing 3 candidates today for the council by-election.
I'm here. Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, sorry. Well, Matt,
you're running.
Nick, it's probably a bit late to nominate, but if you want to vote for Nick, you can't. He's not on the ballot paper.
That's right. But we can
vote for him. Follow my Instagram.
You can. If you want a great photographer, are you booked up for prom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
But I'll be down there anyway. So.
Okay, so if you want a great photographer for studio shoots, landscape, office.
Yeah, I'll be also. 3 scenes is what I offer.
3 scenes.
So there'll be the marina with the cars, getting out of the cars, and on the runway.
Oh, wonderful. There you go. You want photos for the prom?
No, I'm even organising cars for partners.
Shit, how can you be in 3 places at once talking through that? Is this Natalia?
3 different times.
Is that Natalia?
No.
Now, Nick, talk us through it. What's going on the Lightbox this weekend?
Okay, Nick, in his base.
QAL's Service Awards, second Service Awards.
Right. Okay.
Because they've already had a big night, haven't they?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they've got about 1,500.
Holy shit.
Why aren't we? Why is this not tagging you this week? Maybe I need to do that.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Sunday?
Live
music?
Is it? No, we shut at 2 p.m.
There you are. Okay, I'm just posting. Nick, this is Nick's.
Are you here for Sunday at all? Are you here on Sunday?
I am.
Good.
This Sunday.
Oh, good.
Normally,
Aren't you?
10 a.m. till 3.
How's
So
it going?
here till close.
No, man.
It's only one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good on you, Jim. Who are you voting for in the by-election, by the way? Can you tell us? Give us a hint. Give us a heads up.
Can you give me some names? I am
Yeah.
friends with Natalie.
Yeah,
No,
so
Natalia.
Natalia, Colin Burke,
Good one.
Mark McLaughlin,
Mark
McLaughlin, Lynette Dull,
Oh, yeah. Pat Lord. Patrick
Patrick Laws, who was going to come today, but he can't make it.
Lord.
So the other lady doesn't have a Facebook page. So
What's her name?
Colin Burke, Lynette Dull, Mark McLaughlin, Natalia Muscat, Patrick Laws, and Sue Beardman.
Sue Beardman.
Sue Beardman.
Probably the mustard.
They better turn up.
Yes.
'Cause it's-
They'll turn
who's
up.
coming first?
They'll turn up. Colin will be here shortly.
Yeah, the heart rate. Heart rate.
Change
So-
colour as the minutes change.
No, that's my steps.
Oh.
Yeah, steps for the day.
Everything's green.
If you're not, yes.
So Nick, what's happening here for Christmas and New Year?
There's a street party on the 3rd.
Street party.
Out here, the whole
Really?
place, they have a big Christmas tree lighting and the place goes off. Haven't seen.
Does it always do that?
They do. They've done that before with food stalls and musicians, and Santa comes. I've been up
Really?
here before for Christmas.
And I think they give the church gives gifts
true.
to underprivileged families.
Oh,
To the
nice.
kids, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
We see a massive lineup. It's really good to see feedback in the community.
How you going? You going?
Yeah.
Good on you, bro. Love your work, mate. He's one of the good guys, this lad.
Saving for another lens.
Oh, good. We're ready for photos. Can you do some of me and Ross?
I've got so many coming out.
Have you?
There's too much time.
No worries, Natalia. Cole's running a bit late, obviously, so we'll just have to keep chatting
man.
away.
Well, I'm not going to be here at 5. I'll tell you now.
Okay.
Because an hour's too long. People are tuning out.
Yeah, I know, but I did tell you that Natalia couldn't make it till the polling booth shut.
Did you?
So, yeah, I said she was going to
No,
be
but
late. So
that's too much detail for me. You know.
I just got to
what
get
time, mate.
organised. Honestly, you know how much I've got to remember every day?
Jeez,
Jeez.
that's so have I, and that's why like details like that. I'll probably just when
You
this
need a
polling
better,
booth's
PA
open,
or
I
diary
do.
or something
I
like
do,
that.
I do.
Yes.
Now, so let's hit big questions.
Yes.
How happy are you?
I'm very happy.
Good. What makes you happy?
Oh,
Apart from family and friends.
we did this.
No, but
Yeah,
let's
we
do it
did
again.
this. We
Let's
did
do it
this.
again because
You know, I just love life. I love people. People
Yeah.
make me happy. That's one thing. I mean, you know, people in general, you know, like we've always said, the biggest thing for me
Being around
is
other
is
people.
making sure that you get rid of anyone toxic in your life, because
Yeah.
toxic people are really bad for you, and sometimes it takes a really long time to recognize that someone in your life is toxic. So, yeah.
So you know what I've realised lately? That the reason I ask you that is because I've really started to appreciate the little things like sunglasses. How good are they for keeping the sun out of your eyes? And like good comfy ones? Because I used to buy $5 ones because I'm as tight as a fish's backside usually.
No, I always get expensive sunnies.
Yeah, I see.
I
that's the
believe. I
thing.
actually believe, and I'm going to ask. I'm going to the last Women Connecting Women event.
Yeah.
Let's Connect for the year is
Yeah.
Lindsay Windress is holding it at
Right.
H&R Block,
Right.
and I believe you can actually claim one set of sunglasses a year on your tax.
No.
Yeah, so I've actually been told that many
Especially in real
times.
estate, you'd be able to.
So,
because you're outside.
well, you've got to. I mean, you need to protect your eyes as part of your
Yes.
uniform, really. So.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the little things.
Yeah.
Don't they make you happy? And every time I wear this shirt, people comment on it
Mm.
when I wear it to a client's site. So
It's a good colour, though.
I
It's
love
actually
the
a really
green.
great colour. So, but talking about appreciating things,
Yes.
you know, we've talked recently about young Harry Maguire with his accident,
How's it
and
going?
I think he's doing really well. He's still got a long road ahead recovery-wise, but you know, to know in a split second that something like that accident that Harry had, and you know, like Denny said, only 2% of people survived the fracture that he had in his neck, and you know, to know that
And
you
not-
wake up every day
and walk again.
and you know, just to be able to hug someone. And
Yes.
I actually saw a recent post. Have you seen that? Have you seen is it a Specsavers ad, the one where they say if someone offered you $1 million to? Have you seen that
Yes,
to
what a
take away your sight?
What a
an
stupid meme.
Well, yeah, but what
What a stupid meme.
yeah, but the actual ad it actually makes you think about how much is your sight worth to you. You know, like when you
Really?
think about, and
Do
someone
you have
asked
to think
recently,
about that, though?
someone asked recently, you know, a question about if you had one choice to choose between losing your hearing or your eyesight, what would you choose? Like they're thought-provoking.
They are probably
When you actually
thought-provoking.
think about, you take for granted every day your
Yeah.
eyesight, you take for granted your hearing.
That's
You know,
right.
you ask someone who's lost a leg
Kelly Johnson.
what it means to them, you know,
Yeah.
to actually have lost that leg and,
Yeah.
and how it changed them. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think when we talk about appreciating things in our lives that make us happy,
That's
like
right. The
family
little
and
things,
friends, you know, it's just the everyday things.
That's right. I don't think it. I think family and friends we probably do appreciate, but I think the little stuff we don't like. Just
We
you know,
just take it for granted.
Like
And you know
how-
what a really good example I have to tell
like
you?
I like nice gear.
I've got a. Oh, here's Colin Burke ringing. You just take over for 1
Righto.
second. Hey, Cole.
So if you watch my lives
how
at
are you?
night time now, I'm going through. So I'm doing 65 days of happiness at the moment, team. And at the moment, I'm doing what makes me happy.
Oh, no worries.
and
We'll
I'm
just
giving
have to
you
let everyone
each
know 'cause we're
day
live now,
a-
so we've
just
told them that
something
you shouldn't be
little.
far away, so we'll
And
just have to
one
let
day
them
it was the nice tie, and another day it was
know. Are you down at
maybe
the
sunnies, for
Pets
example.
Pottery?
And it's been the best
Okay,
thing
no
for
worries.
me
We'll organise something
personally
else.
to
Awesome. No worries.
realise that the little things in life actually make you just really. I've got to tell you, when I see these, like my man bag, even like just a nice leather man bag, when I see this stuff, it lights me up.
Yeah, well, and that's, you know, we were talking about the V8s the other day.
Just little things.
You know,
Yeah.
there's certain thing, and triathlons do nothing for me,
no,
but I
that's
can
right.
understand
Yeah,
the
but
passion in
personal
it.
training does.
I understand the passion in it, but weightlifting,
Yes.
oh my god!
I know, you get right into it. Right?
Yeah,
you're
exactly. So I've just heard from Cole Burke. He's
He's not
actually down
coming?
he's down at the pre-polling
Oh,
booth,
right.
and he's been held up because it must be
Good
pretty
on him.
busy down
Oh,
there.
good
So he's
on him.
apologised, and if anyone wants to go talk to him, he's down there. But we will make a later time with
Maybe
him.
we'll do
Well,
it
they're down there
outside
with the
polling. We'll
they're-
do it next week, but we'll do it after.
Yeah,
polling
there's
booth
all
hours.
stuff down there, obviously, to meet the people, which is
Yeah.
what their job is to do
Good on.
leading up to
Good
the
on.
election. I don't know if Mark's still coming, Natalia, but I'm not sure what time he organised to be here. If you could let us know.
Why don't we just do this smart and go right on Monday?
We
Why
might
don't
go down to
the
Pep's
polling
Pottery.
booth on
Yeah,
Monday?
we will.
Monday
We'll
after.
go down there and do it from live from
Yeah,
there if
5
everyone's
o'clock
going to be
Monday
there, and I'll let them all know
That's right.
so we can have a talk to them
That'd
then.
be smart, wouldn't
It would be very smart. So,
it? Don't thank me now. See, I told you I've got all the good ideas. See?
well, I mean, obviously they're busy people and it's a busy time and they've got a limited time to get themselves known out in the community. Not that they wouldn't know lots of people, because a lot of the candidates have been around for a really long time. So, but talking about not taking things for granted and what makes you happy, a friend of mine, Nikki Taylor, who's her son Sam Fowler lives up here. He used to be my personal trainer.
Oh,
So Nikki and her husband Richard run a mentoring and recruitment business
yeah. Where at?
from home. They do it
In
Queensland
Gladstone?
wide.
Oh.
Well, they do it Queensland wide.
Right.
So they were in Brisbane. She's actually rung me recently and said we're thinking of moving up there to be close to the grandchildren.
Shit.
So they still do a lot of recruiting and that,
Wow.
you know, throughout the state.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because we were talking this week about the fact that, you know, they decided to come up here. She rang me and said, you know, what's it like up there?
Yeah.
And I just
You
said,
said,
look,
right.
what's the worst thing that can happen? Come
Yeah,
up for a
that's
year and you can
don't
always
like it,
go
go
back.
back.
They are so in love with Boyne-Tanham.
Really?
So in love with Boyne-Tanham. So, oh, hey, Ellie Johnson, Ashford. Annie Pearson. Hey,
Annie
guys.
Pearson.
So they just moved up here and
I love
they're
it.
living in Boyne in the promenade, and it's amazing. Every day they're getting up, they're riding their bikes down to Canoe Point, they're walking, they're
Really?
taking all these amazing photos at the beach, and they're posting them on Facebook.
Isn't that great?
And the couple of friends I've got up here that know them, we keep saying it's so amazing to see our area through the
New
eyes of a
setup.
newcomer.
Oh,
You know, these people are new to town, they're falling in love. I met with Nikki for lunch this week and gave her a heap of things.
did you do a
that-
live with it?
No, not yet, but we're going to. No, we're going to. I'm letting her settle in first because I've
No.
given her a few things to actually go and have a look at. No,
let's do it
she
live.
does lives on her page all the
That's
time.
it.
So
Alright.
she's got a page called Inspiring Women. So I've been live on her page. Yeah, I know, but we did one about my weight loss surgery,
Oh, did you?
Nikki and
Yeah.
I. But I'll definitely do a live with her. But the main amazing thing is when you're talking about happiness, the beauty that's around us that we sometimes take for granted, like the eyesight and the
That's
hearing
what I
and all
mean.
of those
That's what I
things.
mean.
And to see that through the eyes, it's like when you see those videos of the kids when they get a cochlear implant and they turn it on for the first time. You know, those sorts of things. And I've got a friend, I've talked about my friend Tony Williamson up at Cairns before.
Yeah.
He's colourblind.
No way.
They got him these special glasses that you put on.
And they can see shit.
They can see
colour.
normal colours.
And was he moved?
Oh, it was just
Loved it?
astounding. I could not believe the impact
Wow.
that actually had. And you take those things
Hey.
for granted.
I just realised that's the entertainment centre.
Yeah.
We should do a live with one of them one day. Like they're here.
Yeah,
They
we
walk
should.
past us every day.
Yeah, they do. And I love to get Carly or someone.
And they, Scott and Ellen Keane, they were sitting there just when
Oh,
we
were
turned
they?
up.
Oh,
Hello, you,
well, they
Ellen Keane.
miss us, obviously. They
That's
could
right.
hear us
They gave us a
live,
wave on the
literally
way out.
live.
Mm. But they got nominated for some businesses at the business awards.
They did.
So
yeah.
they'd be really cool to get on.
And I've also just been down to pick up some stationery this afternoon at Office National. So
Did you do a
Rachel, no, I've actually talked to Rachel about booking in a live to promote them and what they offer. They're having a VIP night very soon. So, but we've got some really great messages from people on our page who would like us to do some live. So we'll have some good stuff coming
I don't
up.
even see
So
any of that.
I need to show you how that page works.
You do.
Because you're an admin, you've got full rights to the page.
But nothing comes up.
You've got full rights.
I
Yeah, I
never
know.
see
That's why
anything.
I'm going to have to see what the settings
But
say.
see, I'm not into like scheduling these things. Like I'm just into
Yeah, but
turning
I
up and
don't
say
schedule.
those
I just walked in.
You just walk in
Yeah,
and
well, I
walk.
did
Yeah,
one
that's
from the
right. I
races.
agree.
Did you see the one I did Cops Play down at the track?
Shit, I was probably
Did a live down at the Gladstone Turf Club. They kicking goals down there. So yeah.
Who was it with?
I know I just did a live and actually showed everybody
What was
how busy
going
it was, and
Right.
just gave the Gladstone Turf Club a plug on the great job that they're
They
doing.
have done
So,
an amazing job. And
They
Dave
have.
Wiener's still in charge, I think.
yeah, there's their AGM's on or has just been on.
is it?
So
Oh,
yeah,
good. Did he
no,
get re-elected?
I think I don't know. I didn't go to the AGM,
Right.
but yeah, no, it's
But yeah, talking about taking stuff for granted. I think when you come to this area, like if you go and just drive around. So someone asked me recently about that same question: what's Gladstone like? Is it a pretty town? And I sort of had to check myself at the gate because I said, well, what's pretty mean? Like, what are you looking
Yeah.
for? Because I said, have you been to Wollongong or Newcastle or Whyalla? Because I said, there's a lot of industry around
yeah, there
the
is
town,
Wollongong especially. Yeah,
Yeah, so I said, you've sort of got to put it in perspective that we've got beautiful areas of the town. And where was I? It might have been Noosa even. And I said, they're trying to do like a Noosa strip down at East Shores. And I said, trying to make that a bit more touristy. Now we've got tourist ships coming in. But there's parts of town that you'd probably, if you weren't from here and if you didn't understand industry, you'd probably say, well, that's probably a bit ugly, but we don't know any different.
No.
And to me, if you put a positive spin on it, like have you flown into Gladstone
oh, many times.
and seen at night time?
It depends which direction you come in, because if you come in over a Wonga Dam, it's
you
pretty
don't see it.
spectacular.
Yeah,
Then you
right.
come in over the Red Mud Dam,
Yeah.
and I have people go, "What? We saw this great big red thing,"
That's right.
so they don't know what it is.
I reckon it's
But
quite
from
cool.
a local perspective, I think we need to appreciate the industry and
Yeah.
the beautiful parts of the area, because the industry is what brings families and jobs here.
That's right.
But we are so blessed to have, beautiful places like Boyne-Tanham, Agnes, and have you been to Barney Point Beach lately? The council have done
They've done a
a
bit over there?
spectacular job. It
No
is.
way.
I've just sold a unit over in Barney Street.
Yeah, right.
That's right on the ocean front.
Beautiful.
The
What did it
park
go for?
down
Are you
there,
allowed to
and
tell us?
no, it's not unconditional yet, but I can tell you next week. But the Esplanade down there at Barney Point, the park, everything. It's the council have done an amazing job, and it looks really, really nice down there at Barney Point.
Good.
And so many families. There's people down there with their kids all the time. Every time I go there, it's
And there's dogs down there too. You know, there's
beautiful.
signs that said you can't take dogs down there. See, I
well,
wanna
there
take
are
mine
only
down there.
a lot of people don't realise there are specific beaches in the Gladstone region that you can take your dogs to.
Ones at Boyne.
Well, no. The only off leash. Now, hang on. I better get this right. There's a couple of off leash beaches. Canoe Point Beach,
Yes.
you can take your dog off the leash,
Right.
but I'm sure on the Esplanade you must have them on a leash.
But I don't even think you're allowed to take them on the Esplanade.
No, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but they're definitely Canoe
That's
Point.
right, Canoe Point you can. And Bretto Lotting's joined us. Hello, Bretto. How are you, champ?
Hey,
I
Brett.
hope you're well, mate. Now, what were we talking? Oh, so the Gladstone region, right? So, we all know that we need industry to survive, because without industry, we'd be shagged. And a lot of people don't realise why there's industry here. Did you know that?
Well,
They just think that it's just a place that all of a sudden we put alumina refinery.
the biggest reason we have industry here is our port.
That's right.
The
our
port,
harbour.
yeah,
We have
so
natural deep water.
Deepest, I think it's the deepest port on the east coast.
in the whole
So,
world ever.
yeah,
Anyway.
But that's why we've got so many beautiful cruise ships allowed to come here now, and the fact that we've got a lot more, the ships obviously that bring everything into the port, the cargo ships, and
take everything out.
take
so
everything out.
Make here.
Yeah, and if you fly in, and often you fly over the shipping channel, and you'll see 30, 40 ships lined up there waiting to get in. So, who are you thumbs up?
Craig Walker.
Oh,
Yeah, good lad, just drove past that one. So
the other thing, have you seen the virtual video that has been released by the port for the new pool and upgrade the stage 1A of East Shores?
is it good?
If you go onto the Gladstone Ports Corporation,
That's the pool out there.
yeah, it's a floating
see
pool
that.
out in the middle of the ocean in down at East
That looks
Shores.
pretty
That's
cool.
stage 1A. So, but there's also a lot of other things that form a part of that.
Is there no shops coming? Like
There's a coffee shop.
Coffee precinct?
Yeah, they're going to put a
Cool.
coffee shop down there as
Good.
well.
That's what we need, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though that Jeremy Hastings wouldn't like hearing me say that, but you need a bit of competition down there, mate. We need to sort of get some more down there, a bit more cosmopolitan.
Yeah, well, East Shores is beautiful, and a lot of families go down to the water park down there. I think the
Yeah.
pool's going to be really
As much as we love the dock.
popular.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be alright.
Oh, the dock's great, but
I know, it
it's got there's different clientele that prefer different
things.
places.
Absolutely.
So,
No, agree.
Yeah.
Now, care factor. Talk
Mm.
me through it. So we've done it for the last 2 weeks. And I've got an update for you on my coffee situation.
Yeah.
Have I told you my coffee situation?
No.
So, and I'm going to put this out there, and I don't think anyone watches this
Don't upset anyone.
No, I won't. I don't have trouble doing that very recently. What do you know? Do you follow my LinkedIn stuff?
No, I'm not a big LinkedIn fan. Oh,
Right.
I lost
And
my
that's
tea.
okay. Well, I wrote an article this week about it's called Prodrome, which is in Thailand. The first sale of the day in the Asian countries. In the markets, you buy, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the first sale of the day is very Sarah Ford, Mark Warner, hi, Jimmy. First sale of the day is very spiritual.
Yeah.
So it's like you buy. And in Buddhist culture particularly, the Buddhist shines down on them and whatever and makes their day good if they have a good start to the day. That's it. I don't know. I don't know, whatever. So anyway.
Mark's laughing at you.
He is. Now, so I picked that up
Yeah.
quite a while ago. And if I go to a client site, I go to the coffee club on the way and buy 2 coffees and take them with me for the first 2 people I see.
I've heard that. You do that?
So I take them, and so the first 2 people I see, I say, look, would you like a coffee? And that's nice. And that's really for me, not for them. And the challenge is, if I have a challenge for them,
Okay,
can we
yeah.
investigate this?
Yes.
Some people really, really appreciate it.
Yes.
How is it wrong? Is it selfish to feel unhappy if people don't appreciate that?
Well, that depends, because if you turn up as me as your first meeting of the day and you bought me a coffee, I would feel offended in telling you that I don't drink coffee.
No, I wouldn't be offended.
But
want
I
you to
know
not
I would
to
be.
tell
Oh,
me.
that was really nice of you, but I don't drink
See,
coffee. Sorry.
I don't mind either way. But if so if you said
But I would still accept the gesture graciously, because I have a lot of clients that buy me bottles of wine, and I don't drink wine.
No, that's right.
I don't drink
You
wine.
thank them for it.
Absolutely, I would thank them for it.
Okay.
I just would probably wait to go somewhere to a friend's place or something, and
Yeah.
say, bought a bottle of wine with me. So
9 a.m. tomorrow. We're on, brother. Sorry, team. Tomorrow's morning's consulting. And Big Will's joined us. Hello, Big Will.
So yeah, I think the gesture's really nice. There's something that I've always really liked the idea of when you talk to your clients when you first meet them, is to have a conversation about. We quite often will talk to clients about what football team they like or what they drink, or we don't just say, what do you drink and what do you.
So you're building rapport.
If you have conversation about things other than what you're there to do,
That's it.
quite often you can slip little things in there that can give you hints on
What
stuff
they
that
like.
they do like.
Yeah.
So and ours is more a gesture of what to give someone at the end of it, of a transaction or relation, or not the end of the relationship, but at the end of that transaction with them,
Yep.
so that you can actually personalise a gift, because we give hampers to people who
Nice.
purchase a house off us.
Of course.
if I find out they don't drink beer but they like rum, well,
You give them a
obviously,
bottle of rum.
the hamper would have rum in it instead of beer.
Nice. And not only that, what you're actually doing there is
Hey, look at the wind.
you're actually building a bit of rapport, because that's what rapport is, finding
Oh,
something you've got in
definitely.
common with someone.
Yeah.
So even if you don't drink wine, I can still mention Moscato or talk about shit, say
You don't
or
want to.
something.
You don't
Yeah.
want to turn up first thing in the morning with a bottle of rum,
No,
though.
that's right. But we can always talk about
It
rum.
could
We
look
can-
a little bit.
I'm sure we've all got a rum story.
Yeah,
Do you know
definitely.
what I mean? So that's like, you probably don't realise just how smart that is, or you probably do realise it because you're a people person, but
Yeah.
it's quite a good thing to do, find something you've got in common, because next time you can mention that again.
Well, it is, and that's why I've always said, when I walk into a house, I don't straight away start taking notes. You have a conversation with people, you see a photo of, and it's really about, when with the care factor thing,
Yes.
making a connection with someone to show that you actually care about them as a
Yes.
person, rather than I'm just here to sell your house.
That's right. And that's what
So
rapport is.
it
care
is,
factor.
yeah. And if you actually walk in and see a photo, and I've actually had this question. I mean, I've been selling real estate nearly 12 years now. So, walk in and see a photo and say, "Oh, is that your you've got granddaughter or whatever?"
Oh, yeah.
And I've actually had situations where I've had people say, "Oh, that was my daughter. She passed away," and having the ability to handle that in a way where you can show empathy. A lot of people get rattled by that, and
I
it
would.
goes back to
I would.
well, it goes back to I don't know if you would, Anton, because
Really?
if with the
Oh,
type of person that you are, we're going to finish up soon. The
was
battery's
100%.
going low.
Oh,
But if you can say to somebody, rather than like being prepared for those things and having a response where you say, "I'm really so sorry to hear that," and I think that's where a lot of my nursing background comes in handy when it comes to that sort of thing, because I know how to
You've
handle
got
a
care factor
situation
from
like
being a
that.
nurse.
Well, it's probably not just, it probably just accentuated my ability to deal with those situations doing nursing, but it's more about, I've actually had this conversation this week with some people. We were talking about how hard it is to accept a compliment.
Should we go inside and keep going? We've got another 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, we probably got to, well,
Or is it too long?
just depends how long it goes flat. So yeah,
In a second.
we can go in for a second.
All right, let's
So
do
we'll
it.
plug it in. Just going to move, guys, to the power point.
I'm enjoying this chat, this conversation.
Okay, we're back.
Sorry, I didn't want to lose this conversation, because I think there's some goldens for different people out there in the world.
So so we were talking this
I'll get
week.
my phone.
Yeah, it's in your bag. So so the conversation we had this week was about how difficult some people find it to accept a compliment.
Yeah, right.
So if somebody gives you a compliment, obviously they actually care enough to give you a compliment. But it's the people's ability to accept the compliment.
Yeah.
So if somebody says to you, "I really love your hair," or "I really love your shirt," or some people find it really, really difficult to know how to respond to a compliment. And it's the same thing, I suppose.
Well, hold on, before you go on, why do you think that is?
I think I personally, I used to be a big sorry person. I used to say sorry a lot, sorry a lot. And it was actually when somebody brought to my attention, it was, and obviously being a bigger girl, if somebody gave me a compliment, I would get very awkward about that. And it was actually someone who brought it to my attention, where they say, you've got to stop apologising for things all the time. And if someone pays you a compliment, accept that for what it is, and
I agree.
learn to say, look, thank you very much, I really appreciate that. And learn to give compliments, as far as the care factor goes, giving someone a compliment, or even just smiling as you walk past someone, it can actually really mean a whole lot to somebody.
I agree. I've been amazed recently, actually, even in Gladstone, like walking and running, like a lot of people, and especially females, don't like making eye contact. Mind you, there's not many blokes out walking their dogs, and it's mainly females, and I just wonder what that's all about. Let's get
Well,
a bit
it's
deep on this.
interesting that you say that, because I tell you now, one of my clearest memories of my dad growing up, and the men that have been influential in my life, which I've always passed on to my son, is to make sure that when you meet somebody and shake their hand, that you look them in the eye. And because that has been so instilled into me growing up, I actually find how much it stands out to me when I meet somebody for the first time and they look away.
I agree.
And they actually look away from you when the connection is just different.
Yeah.
You don't get that immediate connection of, and the same, I think it's the same when you give a compliment. If somebody doesn't,
Well, it's got to be sincere.
well, yeah, exactly. And
Jade,
if someone doesn't react,
we're going to Robin King and Jaden
Hey,
Baker,
Robin. Hey,
WA. We're going to WA.
oh wow. Hi
yeah.
guys, welcome to Live
Welcome
on a
to
Friday.
Live. We actually do handshake training, believe it or not.
Oh,
training
really?
session.
That's great.
For another day, but we'll teach everyone out there how to actually shake hands properly. And when you say look people in the eye, what you probably don't realise is there's actually a specific eye to look into.
Wow, there you go.
And it's the left eye. So you'll never ever see me looking into your right eye. You won't even know, but your subconscious knows.
So their left eye?
Their left eye.
So then I have to go down left.
That's right. You got to look at their left, and that builds rapport. Look in someone's right eye, and you break rapport. So if you don't want to get on someone, look in their right eye. Then, if they're getting really shitty with you, you know how you heard that saying, "Burn a hole in someone's brain."
Yeah.
That's because you can look there,
Oh,
and people don't know what to do. Like it scrambles people's brains.
wow,
So,
okay.
and it actually brings people down. So if you're having an argument with someone, look there.
Wow.
People can't be angry
That's
with
so
you.
interesting.
No, it's used in negotiation.
Oh my
When
God.
someone's so there is a science to a lot of this. But we're back to why people don't say good day to you on the street, for example, when we're walking around.
And they
I've
look-
always
when
been
they look
intrigued
away,
by that.
yeah.
I know, what is that? I think it's a fear thing. This is my gut feel, and I should ask Alan Pease or a body language person or someone about this. I think it's fear that, you might actually connect, for example, that you might actually have to say good day to someone, or someone might recognise you or something. I'm not
And I mean,
sure.
you don't know what's
Going on in their life.
gone
No,
on
I
with
get-
them,
no, I
but
get
I
that.
think there is a large percentage of people who, you're right, I just don't think they know how to react, or
Yeah.
they don't know, what to do when someone looks them in the eye.
Yeah,
It's,
that's right.
And it's really quite funny because I have relationships that obviously develop and grow over time with clients, and I might sell their house and then I meet up with them again and sell their kids a house or something, so over the years, over 12 years, you start making connections with families and
And then sell it.
add you on Facebook and you
Yeah.
sell them a house, or you'll sell, so I've had, three generations of people that I've sold houses to, or four in one family over 12 years. But they kind of become more than just clients. A lot of them become your friends. So you start off meeting them, shaking their hand, looking them in the eye, and then next time they give you a hug. And so it's interesting that and some of my really good friends were clients of mine.
Yeah.
And it's amazing personality wise where you can really connect with somebody on a friendship level. Who started off as just an acquaintance that you met doing a business transaction,
And I think to put a comma on the end of that, if you're willing to connect, and if you want to connect, and if you're willing to build that relationship,
Absolutely.
because, relationships have got to be two ways.
Well, they do, but it's also about being a business person who's not doing the business to play.
Oh, Mark, how are you, brother?
Oh,
good on
Mark.
you, mate.
G'day, Mark.
Yeah,
How
good
are
on
you?
you,
Sorry,
right
one of
on.
our candidates
Sorry,
has just
mate.
arrived.
Good
No,
on
that's
you.
okay. Well, the other
Just
guys
grab
haven't
a
turned
chair,
up yet.
jumping in.
So
All
Mark McLaughlin has arrived, one of
There you
our
go.
candidates for the upcoming Gladstone Regional Council by-election.
You look good in your photo. Good on you, bro.
Bros, Mark, how are you?
I'm all right,
Nice to
thank
meet you. Just come in close so they can hear you. So Mark, the election's coming up
Yes.
soon.
Look
Yes.
out.
Pardon me, I'm a bit hot-blooded.
That's okay.
That's okay, no worries. So
afternoon.
that's all right.
So we talked earlier, team, about the by-election coming up, and we're going to actually just ask Mark a few questions now, just around why we should vote for Mark, and I guess what he's going to bring to the Gladstone region, and what makes him a different candidate. And I'm actually going to give him a few seconds now while I'm talking. I know it looks like he's scripted.
Just tell us a bit about yourself
That's
and your history first, Mark.
I'm from the Boyne Valley.
Hang on, we need to get in closer because they won't be able to hear you. That's all.
I'm from the Boyne Valley. I'm a fourth generation resident. I've got a slogan running in the last few days: every council needs a farmer.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it's-
That's
I like that.
Chippy Farmers representation.
And it's a point of difference in that I can provide a different point of view,
right. Different perspective.
different perspective, and at the same time I have to understand what all the urban problems are as well.
Gotcha.
So I've living and working in the regional parts of the Shire. I've got their frustrations and problems, and I believe I understand them because I've experienced them.
Right, that's good.
And
So
that's
what are some of those, mate? What's a problem that you say regionally?
communication.
Okay,
So
so
it's getting better and better.
right.
Communication is the main.
So as a counsellor, what do you feel you can do about that?
There's been a lot of work done in extending the mobile phone coverage, and it's not something the council can actually do.
Right.
But it's what can be done is to make allowances for people. You need to give people time to be able to respond to all sorts of things because it's not instant on their phone.
Right.
So what council can do is make sure that they don't expect people to be able to receive an SMS and do something.
Oh, okay. Right.
So and that's pretty reasonable, I think.
So it's just understanding now
Just understanding
the constraints that we're working under. Right. Okay. So being a regional person, does that mean council need to contact you occasionally?
Actually, over the last 20 years, I've been in contact with council all the time because I've been working on building projects out in the Guin Valley, and they've been great to deal with.
Good on you.
Actually,
Fantastic.
they've been helpful. I think that what I'd really like to see with the new CEO is that
Isn't that great? Oh, new CEO.
Since she initiated
Just make sure you talk up so they can
there was
use the microphone.
There used to be, and there still is to an extent, policy, something that was built into the way council staff work was, if you, I know, something that I've gone and I said, look, I want to do this. Look, under the rules and regs, you really can't do that, but let's try and have a look at what we can do.
Oh, good work.
And,
Right.
and that comes from the top.
So you're talking about flexibility,
Yes, and allowing staff to take their
innovation,
and take initiative. Yes, because if you cut council staff off at the knees and say you have to follow every rule to the last letter, it cuts off initiative. And that comes from the CEO.
Gotcha. Shelley, hold on, I just joined us.
Hello,
What's your topic?
Shelley.
Yep, hello, Sally.
So, mate, so talk us through it. Is there anything specific that, as well as the farm and the regional stuff, that you're sort of going to, I guess, campaign on, for want of a better word?
In Gladstone itself,
Yep.
coal dust.
Oh,
It's an old one,
yeah.
but it's come back to me because my daughter's in a unit, and if she doesn't come 3 times a week, it's black.
Is that right? Is that bad? Is it?
Where's the unit of unemployment?
No, it's Milne Street,
Okay.
and I've talked to the residents all around that area, long-time residents, and they're just sick of it.
Really?
Oh yeah, and what is really worrying for long-term residents is they're breathing that stuff in every day.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
If I started a construction site and I was pouring dust into the neighbours, I would be shut down.
Oh, absolutely.
Council somehow was dealing with some very powerful people in court,
Right.
but they have to come to a better arrangement than they have with the neighbours.
Right. Okay.
Something else that for right here in Gladstone that's come back to me is the taste of water.
Oh, really?
A number of people have said to me, "Oh, we're not drinking Gladstone water.
Oh.
I filtered water all the time."
Shit. Okay. Right.
That's not good enough. Yeppoon and Mackay in the last 2 years, respectively, have won the best tasting water award in Queensland.
I didn't know there was a competition.
There is a competition.
I didn't know
I didn't
that
know
at
there
all.
was such a thing.
And,
Best tasting
Hey
water in
Simon, hey
Queensland.
Hamish.
and
Hamish Braden, Simon Whittingham.
Gladstone Area Water Board manages the supply and does the treatment of the water at Gladstone. I don't see why it can't be known that we win
Yeah.
the best tasting water competition.
I did
in
not know
Queensland.
that. Did anyone know that?
All right, so you've just touched on a couple of my biggest clients, so I'm going to leave those two conversations alone, and I'm going to distance myself from anything that Mark said. That's Mark's call, and I'm deadly serious.
Yes.
So,
And
now,
obviously, it's all about letting
and
the
it's up to
civic
Mark,
candidates
that's right.
have their
Mark's-
say.
Mark's
So,
right,
yes.
absolutely,
What else are you going to be
Pardon me
campaigning?
looking at my bit of paper.
go.
Yeah, you're right.
Some years ago, council put out a survey, a series of questions. They were developing a not town plan, but similar sort of thing. They were looking at input from people.
Yeah.
And back then, I wrote down, I'd really like to see council always ask, how can we best facilitate development across the region so people want to live and work and stay in the Gladstone region?
So, what do you mean by development? Are you talking housing or?
Housing,
Shopping
where
centres.
industry's located, what shops go where sports fields are built, and out in the regional areas, to make there are decisions that council to make that
Okay.
make a difference is what somebody was telling town.
So you're talking more of a town planning sort of
It's
thing?
a town planning thing, and the town plan is all town plans built around centralising services because it is cheapest to put services into a concentrated area.
So they've just recently redone the town planning scheme for the Gladstone region. So that obviously changed a lot of people's abilities to, and obviously that all happened as a result of the amalgamation.
Yes.
So there used to be a lot of very clear rules regarding putting duplexes on a property or high rises, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, and I only know that because I'm a real estate agent.
Yep.
So obviously, I've noticed in the town planning scheme there's a bit more flexibility with a lot of things now where things couldn't possibly be done before. So yeah, people need to be aware of that probably.
And there is more flexibility. The flexibility over the last 20 years in the rural areas has been greatly decreased because the little villages used to be called a village zone. It doesn't exist anymore. But in a village zone, you could have a business or a house or whatever you want. Now those village zones are residential. Right. So what if somebody wants to put in a business there? And that's what I'm talking. And what's good for the region is good for the town. Because if you've got a big downturn like there is at the moment,
Nick's behind the counter somewhere, which is
if you've got a big downturn like Gladstone has at the moment, if you have a strong rural industries and strong tourism across the region, it levels that out. The economy functions better.
No, good.
And if you make things that restrict development in the rural areas, such as that village area being taken away. Now, I know I'm never going to win on this or never try to. The smallest area that you can subdivide now is 640 acres, unless you do urban development.
Right, 640.
Is that a council subdivision though? Is that a council issue or a state government issue?
It's mandated by state, and it was pushed and shoved by councils, and that's over.
Because I've seen that change obviously throughout my career where bigger properties. So a big farm, for example, used to be able to cut off a block for your son or your daughter, and they've changed the rules, which I believe state government, where it's got to be a certain size, and I think it's 125 acres now that you
640.
Yeah,
so
you
40. And the problem with that is there is a genuine demand for 5-acre blocks. The reason they took that away was because they were so difficult to service and so expensive to service. The people who buy a 5 or 10-acre block, but then they were buying town facilities. So that problem would have to be resolved, but that is actually a dead set break on rural development.
There you go. Okay, that's interesting. See,
Natalia's just saying hi, Mark.
Oh, there you
She's
go.
watching us from the booth down there, so the pre-polling booth.
So we're actually going to. You're probably going to be the only candidate.
Are you there Monday afternoon, Natalia?
So
because we might come down and see you and Cole and Pat, see who else is around. We're going to have to wrap up soon because we're nearly an hour in.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to finish on, Mark? Just to.
Yes, I want to say what a pleasure it's been to stand in the heat with the other candidates.
Oh, good.
And they are quite happy that we've got a really good.
Is it nice?
They're all good people, aren't
They're
they?
all good people.
They are good people.
You know, I've walked away to come up here and do this interview, and Natalia's got my hand and vote cards, and Collins.
Judy said it's a bit hard to hear everyone. So,
Oh, right. Sorry, Judy.
Collins people, Pat Law can't be there, so
Yeah.
I'll hand out his, which is a remarkable thing.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
is, and
Isn't
it's
that
a
nice,
testament to the great people we have in Gladstone. And I actually had this conversation with someone this afternoon about the fact that council elections tend to be a little bit different to state and federal because there seems to be less political push for people voting for a party as such. So they're voting for the person,
an individual,
and the person as they have presented themselves to the community or performed over the time in the community.
Like a 20-year thing, right?
Well, I think it's really just about
it's not a 5-minute flash in the pan.
No, and it's not people just all of a sudden appear who you have no idea who they are, and they're going, they're so obviously running for a particular party. So, we're going to post. I'll post all the links to everyone's Facebook pages, like I did yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw my interview with the mayor yesterday.
No, Natalia never misses a chance, though. So.
Natalia, no, she doesn't, and that's great. So,
that's right.
I think all bar one of the candidates has a page, so we'll post the link to those pages. But we better start wrapping up.
Who doesn't have a page? Just out of interest, Lynette?
Oh no, Lynette's got one.
Cool.
The last lady, Sue.
Partridge, did you say?
No,
Sue Beardmore?
Sue
Sue
Beardmore.
Beardmore.
Sue doesn't have a Facebook page, but
Right.
I will post the link to the other pages up and
Check my page, everyone. Go Natalie.
Go Natalia. I love it. She's a real promo.
She is,
Natalia.
isn't she?
She's
She's
great.
She has been generous.
She's a
established
lovely,
her
lovely.
Facebook page 10 days ago,
Yes.
and
She helped you out.
she said, "Like, if you do this and this, you can get a friend."
Oh, look
Oh.
out.
You know,
Isn't that
that's not
nice,
bad.
eh?
She's
that's
great,
beautiful.
great
Good
girl,
on her.
Natalia. And we look forward to speaking
Cool.
with you, Natalia.
All right.
We'll
be down on
lock in a
Monday
time
up-
to come
Monday
down
up,
to
five.
the polling pre-polling booth
Monday, good.
Monday. Yeah,
All right.
I'll just check my calendar.
Good.
But thank you so much, Mark.
Thank
and
you for
I
having
hope
me.
that
Yeah, absolutely.
you've
Hopefully
had an opportunity. We usually have about 300 or 400 people who view these
That's really-
videos. So over the next week, so hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to hear
That's
from
it.
Mark. And congratulations on putting your hand up
Thank you.
as a nominee.
Yeah.
It's a really tough job
And
being
good
a
luck,
councillor.
man. Hope you get
Certainly not
Good luck,
easy.
brother.
Yes, good luck.
Thank you very much.
No worries. And if you are looking out and about, Mark will obviously be around at the
I will.
pre-polling booth.
Absolutely.
So go and have a
Go and
chat
say
to
good day.
him and the
Find
other
out about
candidates.
regional stuff. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
and
a probably winner.
yeah, we'll have to wrap up now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
Well, you and I might
Thanks,
say
Mark.
goodbye.
Yeah, we will.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Mark. No worries. Oops.
Thanks, mate. Good luck.
So thanks, Mark. Good luck. Sorry about
You know-
the
you know
wrong
what?
one today.
Do you know what I reckon, Ross? I reckon seriously that we need to do it in here. This is great. Look at the lighting. Look at you and I are pretty
It's a
well
bit hard with the
situated.
laptop down there, but I know the people down
No,
there.
I mean inside here on a Friday up.
Oh yeah,
This
inside.
just looks better.
It is. Sometimes it's
That's
busy
right.
though. A couple we've done
Oh,
inside have been
too
really
busy.
noisy, so we'll have to pick
Right.
a quiet Friday
There's no
afternoon.
one here today.
But
And Nick's just cranked the music now too.
yeah, he did
God
turn it
love
down
him.
while Mark was a bit soft. So.
All right.
Oh, thank you, Lynette. Oh, thanks, Natalia. I was going to message Lynette and see. So we will organise with you guys next week to pop down pre-polling booths
We'll
and
come
have a
down.
chat to you all
Do it.
individually, so you can all
Yeah.
have a plug.
That's it.
But I think we better wrap up. We're
How,
nearly
how
an
good
hour
was,
in.
how good was Mark all scripted?
Yeah,
How
he
cool
was
was that?
ready.
That's
It's really
nice.
nice. I mean, coming
Good
from
prep,
a farming background, I have to agree.
I like
It is nice
that.
to have someone who's nominated who's got a rural background.
I'll
So-
remember that forever. Every council needs a farmer. That's a great
It
slogan.
is a
You need
great
to
slogan.
differentiate yourself, and I think that's a great way to.
But I'm
do
sure
that.
everyone who's nominated has got their
Yeah,
own
they do.
individual things that they can offer as
I
well.
think-
So I think it's really great
I
that
think-
everyone's given the chance to
Say something. Pat Laws, every council needs a cricketer.
Yeah.
He's a cricketer back in the. Him and I used to
I
play.
used to work with
We
Pat.
used to go loggerheads.
I used to
together
work
back
with
on.
Pat at the Observer.
Did ya?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I've actually
He's a
I
big
sold
unit.
Natalia a house. Now
we
I've
used to
met
work with
Mark,
Pat.
which is lovely.
Liam,
Yeah, and hang on, we've just cut
No,
out.
we're back on. Anyway, we're going to wrap up soon. Hey, very quickly,
Yes.
one key message for everyone in relation to care factor.
I think that you just need to be conscious all the time of what you give and receive. So
Nice.
as far as putting it out there or accepting what comes to you, I think that if you can be mindful of that
Yeah.
all the time. And
I
it's-
like what you said before about compliments.
well, it is. It's just about giving, receiving, whether it's a compliment, whether it's recognizing that someone's a bit down or not themselves. It's all those things. It's being very conscious of your environment and the people around you. And I think that builds better communication, which obviously can make people much happier.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is just give a shit. Can I wrap it up and give a shit?
Yeah.
Give a shit about other people.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And that's what caring
Yeah,
means.
that's it.
So,
So,
thanks, Judy.
been a pleasure. Thanks, girl.
You're welcome.
Another-
Thanks for watching, guys. I know it's been a long one, but we
today.
did have a few booked in
Things to go
that didn't
today.
turn up. But have a fantastic weekend. We will see you next week at the pre-polling booth,
On
and
Monday
we'll have a
after,
chat to a couple of other candidates if we can get hold of them all. So
Speak soon.
thanks for watching. Bye.
Good. That's great. Huh?